everything's stimulating, everything. And, you know, visually, you're watching other guys. It's beautiful. I think it's the most beautiful sport. You know, just the contrast, the color. You know, it's awesome, the power. And you're playing it. There's no way to describe what you get out of it. It's just, it brings you back to start.
There's nothing like it. You can't compare it. I don't know why. I don't even know how to explain it. You just have to live it. You just have to do it. It's the only way to explain it.
Like when you feel like your day can't get any worse and you feel like you have no one to talk to, and the ocean is just something that's always going to be there, and like you can go out there and you just forget about everything, and it's just your own time, and it helps you really just kind of, I don't know, when you have your own time, like everyone has their own thing they do, and that's what surfing is for me.
I get so excited when I catch a wave, and I don't know why that is, but it's, I don't know, I can't really describe it. Because I'm a critical thinker, and it's hard for me to wrap my head around why I get this feeling, but it's a good one.
Cleans out your mind, keeps your body healthy. You know, it's just a cleansing activity. It's good for everything, physically, mentally.
It kind of starts as something that's really fun, then it kind of becomes more like an addiction and a habit, and you start to fiend if you get a chance to get out in the water.
It's just been such like a kind of like, I don't want to say a habit, though it is a habit. It's just more of like a lifestyle. It's kind of like if I was to stop surfing, like it'd be a complete change of lifestyle. And I just feel like it's more of a question: why would I stop surfing, rather than like, why do I keep surfing? So.
Surfing is unlike anything else. There's things that are close that you can get involved in, skiing, fishing, things like that, but surfing's in a class all of itself.
I'm 55 years old. I've been a surfer since I was 8. There was a legacy that was involved with my stepfather's. One of the original surfers in California. I mean, old redwood boards. And then he got me into body surfing and then got me into sailing. Then one year we went down to Johnee and he rented a surfboard for me and for him. And it was just an extension of all these the ocean sports that I'd learned, and it was the best. Standing there on the board just was great. I just loved it. and I could always go out in the water and didn't have to worry about anything. The water was safe.
I remember my dad dragging me on a boogie board around in our pool, and then I said I wanted to try this out in the ocean. And my dad brought me out there, and dragged us around, my brother and I, down in the sand. Then he actually took us out and pushed us in the waves, and just been addicted ever since. When you get that first feeling of standing up on a wave, it's pretty unreal, you know, but it doesn't have to be surfing for me. It's just, I get that feeling from just being in the ocean.
My older brother and his friends, they had boards, and you know, they do it ever so often, but me and my friends would take their boards and just go to the beach and kind of mess around, and it kind of got us in love with it. I don't know.
Since I've been a little kid, there isn't a day that has gone by where I haven't thought about the water. Not one. It's all encompassing. All encompassing. It's part of me.
I'm Johnee Gange, and I live here in Cayucas. I started something called Adventure Club Slow about 5 years ago, and we do all kinds of outdoor activities, including surfing, hiking, all that sort of business. And then we do a lot of creative work too. We make films. The folks in Adventure Club Slow range in ages from 15 to the mid-60s. I'm a bit of an autism specialist. I've done some advanced studies in autism, so a lot of people on the autism spectrum are sent to me. We have people with various brain challenges, hemiplegia, traumatic brain injuries like car accidents, things like that. We also have some people with Down syndrome, which I like to call up syndrome. I've been in the water, in the ocean, since before I can remember. I've actually been board surfing for about 25 years, but the ocean has been part of my life forever. I realized in the 80s, or in the 70s, when I was first getting in the water, how powerful the ocean was. And so I started to realize for myself, hey, this is so healing for myself, and so powerful for myself, maybe we should try it with these guys. I met a lot of resistance because working for a big company, immediately people are worried about liability. And they're like, oh, you can't take people in the ocean, because, you know, somebody's gonna get hurt. But I just said, no, you know, I'm not gonna live that way. And so in my company, I help people take these risks in a careful way. But to me, it's worth it. To see what they get out of it is really impressive, and especially with surfing, it's really impressive. And then they'll go back and tell their friends, oh, I'm a surfer now, you know, and I love the ocean. And maybe before, all they could say is, you know, I got to level 10 in the last video game. I'm trying to help people develop a passion for the outdoors and a passion for exploring. So some of these people, week after week, will tell me, I want to go back to the ocean. When are we going to go surfing again? Some of them have bought wetsuits. They've gotten to know some people at the surf shop. You know, maybe they'll go rent a board there. Some of them have bought surfboards. But primarily you just see the main thing, which is, it's true of almost all the activities that I'm helping people with. The main change I see in people is sort of a passion for living that maybe wasn't there before. Some of them may develop a better sense of balance, get in better shape. Surfing requires so much focus, and even just being in the water up to your waist requires so much focus that I think it is one of the best medicines that I might help people experience, because it just, by its very nature, and especially perhaps because it's so cold, it causes people to have to really focus in on where they're at. And that's really challenging for some people, but the effect is really worthwhile. So even if we're in the water for 20 minutes, half an hour, I see that people really get a lot out of it. And they know they're not really surfers, but they know that this act of going surfing is a very cool thing. And I don't think they even care that it's cool societally. I think they just care that it's cool because it's exciting. You put on these suits and you're going out in the water and you're experiencing things you never experienced before. I think the ocean itself is extremely powerful. I think that it's either the minerals in the ocean, or it's the fact that it's the lifeblood, it's maybe where we came from, I have no idea. But there's something so profound about the ocean that I can't even put words on it for how strong a medicine it is, in my opinion. And so I think if people are going into the ocean and finding that they're being healed in any way, it's the power of the sea, it's the power of the earth. It's a very primordial and magical thing.
Here comes Daddy, look at him. That's my dad. He's a clown, isn't he?
I was diagnosed in 2007, and I first started having symptoms in 2004. The disease is called olivopontocerebellar atrophy. It affects your speech, it affects your walking, it affects pretty much everything. Vision, balance. And I saw my primary physician, and he asked me if I'd started drinking again because I couldn't walk. And this April of 2012 will be 23 years of not drinking. And he said, come to my office. And he looked at me, and I looked like a deer in the headlights. I was scared to death. I had no idea what was going on. I wasn't telling my family. I was cranky at home. I just wanted to go home and just sit and relax and enjoy my family and then wait for the inevitable. Then I got diagnosed. When I found out what it was relief that I really had something. You know, the first parts of the disease, I was told what I couldn't do. I couldn't play guitar again. I wouldn't be able to surf again. I wouldn't be able to do anything again. I didn't believe it. And I still go out in the water and I can play guitar again. My best friend Eric Moore took me to Hawaii. As part of my bucket list was to walk the Miracle 7 from Hollywood to Sunset. And one day we were driving by this little town beach and we just decided to go out in the water. I said, I think I can swim. At that point, my ataxia was so bad, we didn't even know if I could swim. We didn't know. You know, I was bad. He helped me down to the water and I dove in. And like that, I was back in my element. I swam out about 100 yards, I guess it was, and came in. And he came down to help me up. And I said, leave me alone. And I got up and got out of the water and ran. And we went, let's get a picture of this. So I dove back in the water. He went and got his camera and took a picture of me running out of the water. No longer easy on the eye. These wrinkles masterfully disguise the youthful boy below. And I get out of the water and I look old, walk old. I'm 16 again. And that started a progression. Hey, if I can swim, I can still hold my breath forever. So, maybe I can try to surf. Try. That didn't go well at the beginning, but I felt better every time I got out. So I found when I got out of the water, I had balance in a million different respects. I mean, my brain forgot about everything and I could walk.
My name is Staff Sergeant David McCreary, United States Marine Corps. I've been in it for 8 years now. In 2009, I deployed to Afghanistan. While I was deployed, I was wounded twice by AK-47 rounds, one on the left shoulder, one on the left knee.
I got rushed to the VA hospital, was told that I had a tumor between my cerebellum and brainstem, and that they needed to move it the same day. After a couple weeks of that, I was in the hospital still, and they told me they needed to put a tube running down my right side 3 inches past my hip bone and going back up.
Shortly after joining, I made my deployments to Iraq, and now that I was all done with my deployments, I developed the symptoms of PTSD, and that's where I'm currently at right now, is the Wounded Warrior Battalion.
My name is Carly Rogers, and I am the program director for the Jimmy Miller Memorial Foundation. And so I've been a lifeguard for 18 years now, and I'm also an occupational therapist. I just received my doctorate in occupational therapy from USC, and I earned my master's at USC in 2004, and that's actually where the ocean therapy program was created, kind of fusing my love as a therapist with the therapeutic benefits of the ocean.
It's something that you can do anywhere, and even just being on a body of water, whether it's a river or whether it's a lake, there's really something special about any body of water, but there's really something super special about the ocean. There's so many healing powers. That's why there's all these surfing groups and helping with autism and helping with cystic fibrosis, and with us working with the military and veterans and current wounded warriors. We've had so many Marines just literally tell us it's changed their life, and we've had many Marines where their life has been changed, not just by surfing, but by the community of surfing. I think is something that's really special.
Surfing's impacted my life because it's a nice way to come out, get away from a lot of issues I might be dealing with. It's also a good way to challenge myself, so I'm also able to go out and prove to myself that after I got shot in the left knee, I'm very limited to what I can do in life, but I can still go out and I can still discover that I'm able to do things. First time I came out here, I didn't know if I was going to be able to pop up on the surfboard because my leg doesn't bend as much, and within the first attempt I was popped up and I was like, all right, I can do this, and let's try and get better at it. Let's get out of the whitewash and go get the real waves. It was nice.
Being 19 years old, being pretty much told that I'm broken in most ways, I have more self-esteem surfing, even though I'm pretty much crashing all the time. Physically, it's still a workout, just like anything else, but it's a workout I enjoy.
For me, the PTSD, or the post-traumatic stress disorder, it's the easiest way I can explain it is that when a person goes through a traumatic event, whether it be from the combat like I had, or it be car accident, or some sort of abuse, or a death, or whatever it is, your brain picks it up and it'll look at it, and it's supposed to process it, and then it'll set it down, and it becomes just a memory. But for me, what happened was when I developed my symptoms, and I went through those traumatic events, my brain would pick it up, look at it, and it's like, oh, this is some really bad stuff, and it would hold on to it. And every once in a while, my brain will bring those memories back up, and I actually relive it as if it's happening that very second, like it did in 2004, 2005, 2006. And I have all the same feelings with the fear, sadness, anger. I can smell the same smells, I can hear the sounds, and I can even see it as it's actually happening again.
You really can't think about anything else that's going on in your life when you're out there trying to catch a wave. The only thing you can think about while you're in the water trying to surf and catch a wave is that next wave that's coming. And I think that there's a lot of things in life that help you get to that point of being in the quote-unquote here and now, whether it's yoga or lots of different things, but surfing something that can be both a sport and something that's going to help you be physically fit, but it also is something that can help you be emotionally fit as well, where it just, one of the Marines said once, it's like taking a shower for your brain. And I truly believe that. Every time I go into the ocean, shower off my brain real quick, and I'm ready to tackle the next thing that comes my way.
The thing that the ocean does is it draws your attention to this moment right now, and it erases your brain of other things that are bothering you. And all you're doing is focusing on getting through the waves without getting pounded too heavy, to enjoy the thrill of being there, of getting a ride. And it erases, at least for the moment, and you're going to come back and you're going to still have your memories and stuff kick you, but it gives you a moment of respite from all of that. So I think the healing aspect there is huge.
I had this idea when I saw a child with cerebral palsy dive out of his wheelchair and start crawling to the water, and I was like, oh, we need to take these kids surfing. And then we started working with at-risk youth, and we took them surfing, and then we started working with Marines, and they went surfing, and it just rinses off a lot of life's issues. You know, people talk about having substance abuse issues, and then they come back to surfing and it kind of refocuses them. And so I guess personally for myself, I know it refocuses me, but it's been such a gift to see how surfing can really change other people and support them throughout every stage of life and every transition.
I got to do some surfing when I was in Vietnam. The Army put me there in the early 70s as a combat medic. And I had this incredible experience after about 6 months of working as a medic on and off with mass casualty wounded to get to the South China Sea at a beach called Vung Tau. And I stepped into the water there and I felt this whole draining of my troubles out into the water, and then the water realigning my own system to being in line again rather than being disoriented and kind of out of control. So I found that healing has been with me throughout my life in any stressful situation or any time.
I expected to come out and actually have a good time and enjoy it, but I didn't expect it to be so relaxing. Paddling out and then get out there, sit up on the board, catch your breath, you know, watch the waves, planning it, and it's peaceful, it's nice. You know, you're kind of away from what feels like the rest of the world when you're just out there surrounded by the water, just waiting to catch the wave. And then, you know, when you time it right and you're able to catch it, you feel it and you pop up, and it's just, you get that rush, and it kind of puts a little more life into you. You know, first time I did it, I came back, I left, I was like, I want to go tomorrow. You know, why are we leaving the beach? No, there's still water out there, let's go. But it definitely shocked me on how, you know, hooked I got into it and how much I look forward to always coming out here. Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason, and you're staring me down, and you got me believing seasons never change, yeah. They just start to rearrange, and the colors disarray. Looking on the bright side, oh, we all have our ups and downs, and it's got me screaming out, don't
I kick myself because I give myself restrictions, and I've grieved over not being able to surf so many times, not even be able to paddle out ever again. And then I do it. After I got diagnosed, my son and I were out at Carver, and I was bummed at myself for not surfing well, and I thought it was over. But my son looked at me and he said, "Dad, you shouldn't even be out here. You shouldn't even be able to be out here. Look up and count your blessings." And he was absolutely right. Just to paddle out, just to punch through a few waves, all of it. Even if I don't get the wave, just to sit there and focus. You know, I have no limitations. It's just the end product is different than it used to be.
When I start to sink, because when I fall, I wanna fall into your arms.
I will get, if I haven't been in the water for a while, I feel like I do get a little bit tightly strung up. And it's just definitely just an awesome way to clear my mind. Like when things are really feeling like a little overwhelming, it's just such a nice escape. My battery feels like it's been recharged, and my head's been cleared. And sometimes it just sucks, because it's like if you have a bad day and you go surfing, you'll forget all about it, and then by the time you get out of the water, you're just like, oh, I have to go deal with that now. So in that sense, I just love being in the water, and sometimes I just don't want to leave.
I actually get depressed sometimes when I haven't surfed for a while. You know, I have to be doing it. It's just part of my life. It's who I am.
It's like therapy. I've had plenty of times where I'm stressed out from work, and you go out in the water, and it's like kind of be able to forget everything's behind you, and you're just concentrating on one thing and just trying to catch waves.
You know, it's an experience that connects you with your friends, people that you enjoy spending time with, and connects you with nature, and that's what keeps me coming back.
I've been out of the water for a couple of weeks now, and I know the difference, like physically and a little bit mentally. It's just like once I like step onto the beach and I get the sand between my toes, it's just like, okay, why haven't I been out here?
It makes your body feel like you just had, you know, an hour-long massage and sit in the steam room. You're totally chilled out. You feel like you've got a honey drip in your veins. And emotionally, it's kind of the same thing. It just floods you with endorphins that make you feel happy.
You know, you're always dealing with people, and like you're on your phone, you're on the computer, you're always corresponding, like you're driving around and kind of interacting with people all day, and like definitely brings a whole side of just like, boom, like it's just me, I'm out doing my own thing for, you know, an hour or two, and like it just kind of centers you in that respect, and you just get to work on like some of your own stuff, you know?
It keeps me going. It's just something, you know, you've got your friends who surf too, and it's just something, you know, you can go do with almost anyone if they're willing to try it, or if not, I mean, it's something you can do on your own too. So either way, it's just the ocean. It's something that's always going to be there.
PC, it crashes, and you have to reboot it. That's what surfing is. You start working right, your mind starts working right, everything's just on a level field, you know? And then it builds up, and you go out in the water. And when I was surfing daily, there was no overwhelming stress. And when you get out of the water, it's gone. You know, any stresses of the day are gone. Like, whether you're 10 years old or you're 55. It's gone.
It's a me time event, I guess, and it's something that I can come out and get my center of gravity back and feel a little bit better. Let a lot of things go and just come out and feel good.
It is pretty spiritual, I feel like just the ocean. It's a very majestic place, and it's just a nice escape, really, from reality when you need that escape and you need your own time, and just to think about things or not to think about things.
And there's a sense of being right at the moment, right now. You're not thinking about any other thing but getting through the next wave, paddling out to the lineup, enjoying the view, and then you come back in and you're a new person, at least for a while.
You know, you stress about school, you stress about work, you stress about everything that's going on, girlfriend relationship, whatever it's going on in your life. And just to get out, yeah, girlfriends will be the worst sometimes, but yeah, once you get out there and that's all disappears. It's just you, your board, and the water. And of course, the seals that come up, you know, just puts a smile on your face, or the otter that might pop up, you know, it's just, you're able to get out of your world for a while. It's a little mini vacation.
I just feel in touch with everything that's going on, I guess, when I've been surfing more often. You know, you're not worried about, you know, anything, the problems you're having in your life or whatever. It's just, you're just in that moment, in nature, in something that's the ocean, which is way bigger, way more powerful than you are.
It's always there in the form that it is. It's got you and your board, and you go down. No matter what other things are going on in your life, you've got that.
Balance that I think it's brought to my life, it kind of helps kind of dissect things for me. You know, I have my work life and I have this other outlet.
So I definitely would say that surfing has brought balance to my life, and not just to my life, but to anyone who surfs, to their life.
Yeah, I mean, inherently surfing requires physical balance, but emotional balance as well is a big part of it. So.
I think that surfing has brought an enormous amount of balance into my life.
More way to balance out the scale of life.
It does bring balance to my life for sure.
It's the thing that keeps my life balanced.
If you ask 10 people to describe paradise, probably 9 of them would say a tropical island surrounded by white sand beaches in the ocean. That's understandable. I mean, that's paradise to me. And every single time I go to the water, whether or not I'm in LA, whether I'm in front of a nuclear power plant, doesn't matter. Because when I look out, I'm seeing the same thing that I would see from paradise. And when we go out, we use it as a tool. Maybe not intentionally, but it is a tool. And we use it for finding balance.
This morning as I awake and the tears streak my face from another dream of you, it's become so commonplace. But try as I might to leave those thoughts of you